What up, girl?
What up?
What up?
You miss me?
I mean, I miss the wife I had. You know, if you guys notice, she's got a little bit of a man voice.
I've been sick all week, so I know you guys have missed me.
Yeah.
I know you've been missing me up here, right? Keeping you in line.
Oh gosh.
Running the show.
Dude, I like the.
You guys think
like
that he's in charge, but really not.
I like the new layout.
Oh, you tried to change the subject. I see.
Change the subject on what? You're not the boss.
That
I
I'm the
own
boss.
everything. I own everything. Jesus.
Okay. Well, anyway, what are we talking about today?
Let's see. We're gonna talk about the R7. Let's talk about that because that was a mess and a nightmare. And
It's a long story, so get
I mean,
comfortable.
you know what? To be honest, it wasn't a nightmare, but it's just, I wish the truth was told, or the truth would, like they were upfront. But anyway, let's.
Yeah, we have a lot to cover on
Yeah.
this. So okay, so
First of all, finding one.
yeah.
That was a nightmare in itself because. So what the problem was is Kate was scouting. She found two, and they were at where was that at? What's that dealership?
Yamaha. What?
I don't know, but it was just at the border of Texas.
Oh yeah, the border of Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, what was it? I don't know what it's called.
I
Anyway,
forgot.
doesn't matter. So she found two, and then the reason why I didn't jump on one of those is because we talked to the regional Yamaha rep, and he is like, yeah, they're producing them. They're gonna come in as fast as possible. Yamaha is putting most of their time into that motorcycle, and this is literally at the what was the event?
Oh, the International Motorcycle Show.
the
That's where we
IMS.
saw one and actually got to sit on it.
That's where we got to sit on it, check it out.
We were gonna ride it, but
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was like wasn't.
dude,
like
okay,
we
this should
heard
be
that.
another show, another podcast.
What?
But it is so disappointing, like how small the IMS show was.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
There was nobody there.
We paid, what did we pay? $20 a piece, and we were in there for 20
Maybe like
minutes.
20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, 'cause it was
there
just-
was no
it was
vendors.
terrible.
Yeah, but that's another day.
Anyway, another day.
Okay, so
we went to the motorcycle, the IMS. We looked at it. We were gonna ride it, but they were like, "Hey, we don't want any cameras."
Oh,
And
that's
I was like,
right.
"How do you promote something?" And then what I do is I analyze why they're telling you that, and of course, it's if you crash on the ride, even though they have somebody taking you out and you're following them and stuff, and you might be going 20 miles
Always
an
a
hour.
liability.
It's just
Even when I took Brooke to get her ears pierced, I pulled out my camera. She's like, "Oh, no recording," because if they happen to mess up, then you have it on video. Like they're just covering themselves. Same thing.
God. You know what? It's no wonder why all the cool stuff happens in Europe, because we've got idiots.
America's ruined it.
I know. Well, the problem is you have idiots that are like, cool, let's go jump off the roof. We're all gonna have fun. And then when they jump off the roof and they break their leg or something, then they're like, you know what? I got to sue the building because the floor was too hard.
I mean,
you guys are worthless. All of you that have sued for dumb
reasons,
reasons, you're idiots.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. You're just ruining it for the rest of everybody else.
No,
But
no.
they don't care because they've won their lawsuits. and they have
That's
their
you know what,
millions,
and that's
so.
the problem.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna go to McDonald's and spill coffee on my little toe and be like, I'm gonna sue them for it being too hot.
I mean, I think we just found the answer to our retirement, right?
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's erase this from the comments.
Okay, so we were looking around. We found a
Yeah.
dealership.
It took a while. Well, the thing is, so they had two there. The reason we didn't get it is because we had talked to the Yamaha regional dude. He was like, they're going to come in. So I was like, I might wait for the 23s or 22s, right? 20s, 21, 22s. Anyway, the one with the white and the new 60th anniversary or
Yeah.
whatever it is. I can't remember what it is. But we might wait for that one, or we might just get the ones that come in. And sure enough, those two sold like in 2 days. So I called them back. They were like, they sold. I was like, cool. Not worried about it. Little do you know, that was, how long ago was that?
I mean, when was that was like in October.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. And then what we started to do is I called, because what I do is I call the dealerships that we do business with. And I'm like, hey, I'm looking for this bike. Let me know when one comes in. And then all they do is they search each other's databases and blah, 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 whoever gets it.
Yeah, because that's what, like, we're going to get deeper into this later in this conversation, but whenever something new comes out that we want to stick with the dealerships that, give us a good deal, they have loyalty, you find somebody, it's just like when you get your hair done, you find somebody that you like and you want to go see them. So calling the usual people to see what they have.
And I mean, we can get into it. The problem is the problem that I have, like there's 60,000 dealerships. I don't mind, like we drove, how far was it?
About 3.5 hours.
Yeah, so we drove 3.5 hours. I don't mind driving that to go to a dealership that is at least giving us a deal, not charging us, for them wiping the rim down or accidentally moving the steering wheel to the left. You know what I'm saying?
$500.
Yeah. So, and that's the problem. And just on that point, like it's so disappointing. We went to Al Lamb's to pick up the 50. And this is what started
everything.
Is we go up there, and you know what? I'm going to go up there and do the video just so you guys know I'm not lying. We go up there to get the CRF 50. You guys know how much the retail for that thing is. It's $17.99, okay? So I went up there. I was like, hey, man, I'll just take one of these. He's like, okay, yeah, with tax, title, and license and assembly fees and stuff like that. He's like, it's $2,800.
That is insane.
I looked at him and I was like, dude, where does the extra $1,000 come from? And he's like, yeah, they have to assemble the bike. I was like, listen.
A 50.
You obviously think you're dealing with some idiot that doesn't know that it doesn't need to be assembled. That bike specifically does not need to be assembled. And then he's like, well, they got to charge for that. I was like, what? You got to charge me the $20 to use the... And I understand, listen, you can charge an hour of labor because it definitely does not take you an hour. Like we've been over there. They've uncrated a Grom. It took them like maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is it's not for every motorcycle. You've got to know what you're talking about. There's bigger bikes that come like they used to come back in the day with the rim off the front, with the rim separate from the front forks. That is a bike that you pay a little bit more. But that's maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, but here's the problem is over the years, they just start to take advantage of the people
that's it.
who
They
just pay
always
it.
say, yes, they've always like, hey, we assemble this. But it's a bunch of bullshit. All you're doing is I have a bunch of dealerships. When that happens with one, that one's crossed off the list. I never go back there.
To the next
it's
one.
a waste of time. And we bought how many bikes this year? We bought
probably
7.
At least, yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, so that's it. And we like to go to the same dealership. You give us the same deal. But now on that same point, this is another thing that's also upsetting. So obviously everybody knows that COVID has created this shortage, okay? I understand that. But if you're shopping with the dealership for 9 years, now they have a shortage, they have the bike you want, and then they're like, hey, we can't give you a deal because we can sell it anyway.
Yeah.
Now there's, hey, I can get that money anyway. And then there's, hey, this guy's been shopping with me for 19 years. Maybe I should just give him the same deal we give all the time.
At the end of the day,
but they don't care.
care.
And that's it. That's just another dealership crossed off the list. It's like, it doesn't bother me because all I do is I do what I do all the time. I go to them, I talk to them. I'm like, this is what we do. Even if we've got 20 people watching this video, I'm still going to mention it. Maybe one of those people, one person goes and buys a motorcycle from them.
So if you're going to take anything out of this conversation, if you have a dealership that you go to that you know isn't hassling you, isn't taking advantage of you, I suggest you stick with them because they're few and far between.
Yeah, stop going all the way around and know stuff before you go in there. Like the dude that's like, it's $2,800 for assembly fee. He literally thought he was going to get away with that.
He really thought he did something.
No. Just do the finger wag. I looked at him. I was like, dude, listen. All I did was I asked him. I was like, "What assembly? Just explain to me what assembled." And then he's like,
you see the box, the crate.
They have to spray the fairings to put them on the bike. Oh God, dude. Anyway, so we go through all that. We go to the dealership.
So that's how this actually started. Was we were going to get the 50 for our daughters for Christmas.
Yeah.
And so we called the dealership that we got the R7 at. We called them for the 50.
Yeah.
And they had the Grom SP.
Yeah, well, so what I did is the Grom SP was a while ago when we bought the other Groms that you guys know.
We ordered it.
So we were like, hey, if you get this in, let us know. So I called them for 50, to get the girls one. And then they were like, hey, I'm going to go check in the back. I think we have a 50. So he called me back like 2 hours later. And he's like, hey, I have a 50. And then he's like, hey, I have good news. The SP, we found it back there as well. So I was like, done. I'll come and get both of those.
That's my Grom.
Yeah. Then the next day he calls me. He's like, hey, man, we have an R7. There's a problem with it. So I was like, well, that's not a big deal, And this is Altus in
Altus Motorsports.
Yeah, in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Ardmore? I forgot what city it is. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So they call me. They're like, hey, we have an R7. And he's like, hey, have you, I don't think he asked me, but I already knew about the R7s having crate damage. So he was like, hey, we got a little bit of problem. Got some damage on it. And, the tank's a little damaged. So we've got to get that repaired. We'll get the bike over here and we'll take care of it. So I was like, cool. I was like, the crate damage, right? He's like, yeah. So you know about it. And we explained, we had a good chat. And I was like, yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is, as long as there's not major damage.
Yeah, we were still interested in taking it.
Yeah,
because,
who cares?
That's
crate
not
damage.
scary to
Usually
us.
it's just like plastics. If it's something serious, they
Yeah.
have to replace stuff. It takes a while, back order, blah, blah, blah.
Plastics isn't a big deal.
Nah. That's not
Even though it's probably going to take, everything's back ordered. So we knew that it was going to take some time. But
yeah, but the problem is that they're like, hey, the tank is damaged. So I'm like, cool. I appreciate that. Then what I did is just to make sure, because, I deal with stuff. I deal with people that are not upfront all the time. So I do the same things I always do.
do a little diving.
I do a little diving. All I did was I was like, hey, can you send me the pictures? I just want to see what the damage looked like, and then, I can just assess it. We're probably going to take it anyway. It's not a big deal. So what they do is they have this text system. They text me on that system. So they send me some pictures, and they're like, hey, here's the bike at the dealership. So take a look at this. So I'm going to show you the pictures right now. Take a look at the pictures that they send to us. So look at that picture, and then they sent me a picture of the tank showing that the actual tank, not the cover of the tank, but the tank was not damaged. So they were trying to show that it was not that much damage because the tank wasn't damaged. Because if the tank is damaged, it means that it took a huge hit.
Yeah.
But look at the bike. Look at this picture. The whole thing is disassembled. So now
we're like, why is it disassembled for some
for the
fairing
tank,
and
for the tank
damage?
fairing?
Yeah.
Now that's the problem. Is I was like, okay. I sent them a text. I was like, can you elaborate on why the whole bike is disassembled? Now, with me and pictures, we do a lot of auction stuff, so I've learned a lot of things, and I'm able to pinpoint things that when I see it, I'm like, okay, this is what's happened. So I know you guys aren't gonna, I'll leave that picture up there for a little bit, but what you can see is look at the left of the motorcycle, the back fairing, it's missing. The other one is on. So that means that side was damaged because they removed it. The other side was not. Now they removed that fairing, so I know that is also damaged. So then if you look at the whole bike, obviously the rest of it is disassembled, but the whole bike, the front end is off. All of that is off. So that means to me that maybe the fairing stay was damaged as well. So you see how I put 2, 3, 4, it just grows because I've done this for years. I'm not an idiot. Like the thing that's sad is I do so much business with Altus. They should have known this.
Yeah, we order parts from them all the time.
I know, it's ridiculous. So anyway.
So yeah, it started out as them being like, oh, it's just this. And they expect people to look at the picture and be like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Right. And
but
then
we're like, no, bro.
Yeah, so I try to ask them, so this is what I did is just to give you guys a little insight is anyway, so what I did is the way it works with Yamaha is Yamaha doesn't just take the dealership's word for what happened to the bike or if it's damaged or if it's not damaged. You guys understand where I'm going with this? So all I did was I was like, hey, send me the pictures that you sent Yamaha for the repairs. And then, of course, there was silence for, I don't know how long the silence was for because they thought, it's just common sense questions that if you're in the motorcycle world, you're a dealer or dealership or shop that you've dealt with before. And then
didn't they, in response to that, finally, maybe after 24 hours of nothing, they were like, well, it happened at another dealership, so we don't have those?
No, they already told me it happened at another dealership, which I was fine with. I was like, cool, and the way I said it was, can you get those pictures from them? Because they had already, what they told me, they had already done the warranty work to get the fairings from Yamaha. So, going on with that, I was like, okay, I'll come pick the bike up. They text me on a Thursday, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll come pick that up tomorrow. So then they text me back. They're like, hey, no, you can't come pick it up because we don't have it from the dealership. So I was like, that's weird because you said you have the bike in the previous text messages. So I was like, that's kind of weird. I was like, okay, cool. When can I come pick it up? So They told me you can come pick it up Friday of next week.
A week later.
A week later. So I found that kind of weird, but I left it. I was like, okay, because the dealership that they got it from was in their area. This is what the whole conversation that we were talking about. So I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but that's fine.
It's like in the back of our minds, we just knew that they were hiding something.
No,
you know?
I know.
They weren't being upfront. It's like, I can just picture all of them being like all looking at each other, like, what do we say?
Oh, no.
Just trying to sell it.
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to sell it, but they need to know that we'll take it anyway as long as there's not crazy amounts of damage on it.
But didn't they keep
or repair
texting you
it.
being like, is this going to be a track bike?
Okay, now this is where the red flag's starting to come up. Jesus. They kept texting me saying, hey, are you going to make this a track bike? Hey, this is a track bike, right? Is this a track bike? I was like, no, this one is not going to be a track bike. I was like, this one is not. We're going to get another one that, yes, we'll make that a track bike. But still, they were like, hey, we're going to do a track bike. I was like, okay, dude. I was like, no, we're not going to do a track bike. You just need to tell me what's going on.
So at this point, we were going there anyway to get the 50 in the Grom, and we were like, we're just going to have to look at this before we commit to buying it.
Right. So what I did is they text me back. They text a long email. They came back with saying, they were like, hey, there's some issues with the R7. You know, there was more damage than the other dealership told us. And this is where I have a problem. It's the same thing that people do when they're selling bikes. When they're selling bikes and they say it's from the previous owner, then why am I talking to you? Go get the previous owner to come over here and explain to me why this is like that.
Yeah, that's why it's really important.
Yeah, that previous owner stuff is dumb, and you're an idiot for saying it. Like, somebody said it, then it just got huge, and you know what? I crashed it, but it was the previous owner that did it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the unfortunate thing that Altus did, is they're like, well, you know, we didn't know because the other dealership, there's no way. There's no way you didn't know because you contacted them to find out what the damage was. They maybe even provided those pictures, and that's why they didn't want to provide it to me.
Why would Altus be like, you know, this dealership's like, hey, you know, can you sell this? And Altus is like, yeah, you know, we don't know what's going on, but we'll take it. Like, they had to have gotten lots of information specifically of what's going on to make sure they can sell it.
Right, exactly. And they need to know when the parts are coming in, if they're delayed, stuff like that.
So the point of this is we're just thinking, why can't you just be upfront and tell us?
Yeah, because we don't. The thing is some people just don't care. They just want the honesty. That's it. I don't care. Like, that thing, you know, we could crash it and then we're like, oh, okay, let's just make it into a track bike. But the thing is, you know, our plan for it, which it is up now, it's on rideshare, you guys can come and rent it. That was our plan. We didn't want anything major to be wrong with it, so it causes an issue that it's not listed and it's not renting. Well, that's the issue.
When you're buying a brand new bike, you expect it to be in good condition anyway. It's not like we're talking about a used bike.
Right. And so here's another couple things is there's just things that are on there that are, they think that I'm not going to, after I get all the parts in, look at them and not going to be replaced. So anyway, moving on.
So we wait. We're like, we're just going to see what it looks like when we get there. So we wait the week. Yeah. We drove 3.5 hours. We took a little road trip to Oklahoma. And so we got there like right when they opened. And, you know, I have to say this. Right when we walked in, shut up, Craig. Right when we walked in, the sales lady walks up to Craig and she's like, oh, hi,
like
Craig.
Walks right past Kate.
Yeah. Like, and I come right up next to Craig and I wait for her to turn and introduce herself to me. No, she just walks with Craig. I was like, oh. Wow, man, there's nobody else here. I'm a ghost.
I thought it was funny. I was laughing because, you know.
No, it puts the spotlight on how, like, disrespected women are in motorsports. Like, even you know what? I expected more from her because she was a woman. I figured she would be like, does she think my name's not on that bank account too?
Well, I mean, it's not.
I mean, it is.
No, it's not.
Okay, well, we're going to see about that later. Let me pull up my bank account right now. So anyway, I mean,
honestly, I
thought
it was hilarious. It was so funny. You should have seen Kate's face. She was like, God damn it. I was like,
I wanted to leave right there. I'm like, I don't want to give these people my business because they're being assholes. So anyway.
I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. So,
okay, so we get we
get there
and we start taking a look.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't care about the Grom and the 50 because they're brand new,
fine.
No issues. But we walk back there, and you know, they all come back there. Because I you know, I guess I don't know. anyway, they all come back there because they want to see if we're going to take it or not. And I guess it's more of a thing to like what I got from it. The feeling that I got was to see how much we could see was wrong with it. So, but the only thing I went is I was like, okay, so the mechanic's standing there and he's like, yeah, I put it back together. I did all that. So, and then all I did was I asked him, I was like, hey, so just tell me exactly what you did. And then he's like, well, we didn't do much. But the problem is that here's the thing is they told us that we couldn't pick it up until the Friday of that week.
Yeah.
So what they did is they got parts in before we could pick them up. That was the length of time that they needed to get those parts in order for us to pick up the bike. That's why they didn't want us to pick it up that Friday. Like they told us Thursday, the Friday after. Yeah. So that's what they did. When you walk in, I don't know if you guys can understand, but when you walk into a room and you're talking to people and you can see that they're trying to hide something.
Yeah, they're all like looking at each other. Like,
yeah, because all I did was I do the same. Yeah, they look, it's like, oh, God. And I was like, can you guys quit messing around and just tell me what the deal is with it?
And so Craig was sitting there telling me like, look, I know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, I know. And the other thing is I was like, listen, because they didn't want to say anything. They're like, yeah, there was damage. The other dealership didn't tell us that much. So I was like, listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bike, I'm going to take it back, and I'm going to take it apart. And then I'm going to find out what bolts that you touched and everything else, and you're going to let me know. So then the mechanic goes, well, the one thing that you need to know is that the fairing stay. And then what he does is he reaches over and pulls out another fairing stay, and he's like, yeah, as you can see, it had some rub right here. I had to disassemble it. So now what you guys needed to know, it goes back to the picture, is the whole motorcycle with the fairing stay was disassembled. Do you guys understand? It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Like, just tell the truth. So, all I was disappointed. I was like, I understand that was done. I appreciate you telling me that, but do I need to know anything else and where the damage is and stuff like that? Because when you're at the dealership and you're looking, you want to get it done and get out of there. And then when you get back, you start to see things. And that's
what we didn't want to happen.
Yeah, but that's basically what's happened. To get home and see
that we were left with a bigger mess than we anticipated.
Right. And obviously it runs and it's running good and it's perfectly fine. But there is damage to stuff. Now, when you pay full price for the motorcycle, everything should be perfect.
Correct.
I don't want any damaged parts or rubbed or any of that stuff. But that's the thing is there is. So this is the problem now. We go back and say, hey, look at this and that. And, you guys knew this was damaged. I need those parts. And it just becomes a mess. So do you deal with it or do you not? Or do you make a video on YouTube telling people that, hey, you probably want to stay away from the dealerships that don't really have your best interests?
Yeah, and I guess it was like maybe a little more disappointing than usual because we've dealt with this dealership before for various things. And so we anticipated that they would, have a little more respect for us.
Yeah, like have your back. But the thing is it's I don't know, man. Oh,
it was disappointing. And it's like we just bought 3 new bikes. Yeah, we should have left beaming and excited, but we were just like so like it was kind of like an uncomfortable, weird feeling. Like it just felt shady.
Yeah, and so here's the other thing is I know you guys are gonna be like, well, why did you take the bike? The thing is the bike wasn't that bad. So it's not buying the motorcycle that was the problem. It's the people selling the motorcycle. Like, I'm still going to take it. I want it. So that is what it is. And I know some of you will be like, well, that's your fault. No, that's like it's your fault if you get food poisoning because I wiped my butt and didn't clean my hands.
That's a great analogy.
It is. I know it is because that is definitely what it is. So these are the things that you need to think of. There's a level of customer service, and then there's a level of like loyalty, and then there's a level of just
complete dishonesty.
Dude, it was I don't know. It was just very disappointing. And it's cool to have the good deal on the 50. I didn't have to pay. I saved $1,000. We didn't get any deal on the R7, so it was just normal. I could go to Joe's Blow dealership and get it for that price, but it was in stock. The Grom, we didn't get a deal for on that either. So those are the things that we look at. And the reason why I know all this is obviously we take out other invoices that we had and we look at this, and it's just the same price as what we would have paid, but they happen to have them in stock. So, it's not like I complain about that. I bought them. There is what it is. But it's when you have to, it's like when you get business like that, you're like, golly, what was it worth it? was it worth? Should I have just waited, or should we have just taken the bike?
The R7s are just really hard to come by, so we had to decide like if it was worth it.
Well, I mean, I could tell you this is if it wasn't delayed and COVID and all this I would have wasted 3 hours, come right back with no bikes, no problem.
Yeah.
So, and that's
that's the thing for us. We would have just taken a road trip and not bought anything if it was that horrible, you know.
Yeah.
Here, where we are now is we ended up taking the bikes back home with us. We went that whole, 2-3 hours that we were there without anybody introducing themselves to me, not even in financing. So, I got to make another podcast about this, and I need to get another woman in here with me because it's wild the way they You know what? Next time
we'll do a test. Next time, I'll just come with you and like stand at the door, and then you go in.
Yeah. Excuse me. No. Look at me. I'm the one with the money today. We're doing it.
Anyway, it's the thing is, the great thing about this is, I would love. I know it's hard to type out a huge story, but it would be amazing if you guys could just leave some of the things just briefly, so I can get the gist, because it just
let us know what kind of experiences you've had.
Yeah, and the thing is like what you need to keep in mind is it wasn't one motorcycle, it was 3 at one time. So yeah, granted, if the 50's like $2,100 and the Grom is another,
still
but it's 3
money
motorcycles.
Is money.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it was $2,000 or $20,000. We deserved more.
Well, I mean,
but the thing is, more.
The way I think is it like it's not to accept what happened. Like I always say, it is what it is. I say that all the time, but I keep a mental note. I'm like, cool, this is what I need to know, and then what I do is I just build off of that. So I'm like, okay, so these are the things that I need to do going forward. I always say it is what it is to people, because all I want to do is I want to process it in my own way, because then what I do is I use that, and then I use it moving forward.
Yeah, don't worry, he doesn't forget. He keeps those mental notes locked away tight.
I'll never forget. I never forget. I can tell you that. If you've like Metric Jelly, nobody will know who that is except for a couple people. I will never forget. Never forget.
So, I mean, even right now, we're in December. We're still waiting for the fairings to come in.
Yes,
which we knew it was going to take, probably a couple, 2-3 months to get those.
I could care less. That's the thing, is I could care less at the on back order. Yes, the bike missing the tail doesn't look as good, but it doesn't affect the performance at all. Yeah. I could care less.
You've been riding it. You've already put like over 1,000 miles on it.
1,500 miles on it.
Oh my God.
Ballin'.
So yeah, the motorcycle's obviously perfect, aside from a few cosmetic things.
Yeah, but the other thing is after going through it, the clips on the wiring harness, they got a little bit of a hit, so that's messed up. There's a front piece that covers by the stabilizer, that's damaged. Now, I'm interested to see if I get a wiring harness in the box of parts, and interested to see if I get that little piece, the panel that is up there by the fairing stay, which I'm 9 million % guaranteeing you that we're not getting those parts.
You know what I just thought of, which is kind of circles back a little bit, but something we didn't really touch on is, like, for me anyway, at the core of this, them not being upfront with us about what was wrong, it's like, we don't know what they've done to the bike, if they've taken it apart.
Right.
But that, like, what kind of safety issues could they have put us in, if they did something wrong? And like, that is why we should know what we're buying.
No, and that goes part with us renting it. That's the reason why I got upset with them, because they wouldn't tell me what was going on. And I told them, I was like, listen, this bike is for rent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it back, and this is when everything changed. I'm gonna take it back and take it all apart and see what you've done. And then of course that's when the fairing stay came out.
Yeah. Because we have to be confident that our bikes are running and in perfect, condition for other people to ride. Never mind ourselves, but other people. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
It's disappointing. Yeah. And I mean, hopefully you guys take this the way we're trying to do it. It's not to be like Altus is a piece of shit.
Yeah, we're not trying to.
I could care less about Altus. It's about telling you guys the experience that we had, and hey, this is what the deal is. I could care less if people go or we go back to Altus. But the thing is, the thing is I have that. It's in my little lockbox, and I'm like, okay, now I have to be wary. Whereas in before, go up there, shoot the moon, have fun, get the guys pizza, lunch, enjoy life. Now I'm going to keep my pizza and eat it myself.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
All of it.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know why you just looked at my stomach.
I got the hint though. I'm on she told me I need to eat better, so I got to start eating better.
Okay. Well, I want to know what, like we said before, what experiences have you guys had at dealerships?
Yeah.
You know, not just Altus,
There's
but
no
in general.
way, even the 20 people that are watching this, there's no way you guys haven't had an experience. Every single member that's here has had an experience that we've talked about dealership stuff in some way where they're like, it was super disappointing. And it's the reason why these people are starting to come to us is because you deal with
Nobody
something.
wants to deal with the dealerships anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that. Listen, there are good dealerships out there. I've got a couple of people that we talk to, and they're up front, and they understand that this is the way you do business. But there's also that part of where, like, dude, I've had some bikes come in here where the guy's like, hey, they changed that oil, they did this, and then you drain the oil because the customer wasn't sure. He's like, hey, I need you to double check this because I had a weird feeling. Comes in, we drain the oil, and the reason why he had a weird feeling is because the filter he said it looked like the old one. And sure enough, you pull the old one off and the oil comes out and it's like water. You know when oil loses its lucidity after a large amount of miles? That's what,
which mistakes happen, but it's like, that's a safety issue, right?
Yeah, it's like, if oil
like
doesn't.
at the dealership, that's your job.
Right, but if the oil doesn't lube correctly, lube the motor correctly, then you have issues. That's basically the why you do oil.
Yeah.
So it's just,
so it's
I don't
like
know,
paying
it's
for
just
nothing.
weird, and it was just disappointing to, I don't know, it's
Yeah,
disappointing.
that's
And
how it
the
was.
thing
It wasn't a
is,
horrible experience. It was just shady and disappointing.
yeah, and the sad thing is they're in the racing world, so I like to do business with dealerships that are in the race world and support the racing, but golly, man, come on.
We just expected more.
Man, anyway. But, we have the R7.
Yep,
It's
she's
here. You guys can rent it. We did the M4. And, on that same note, thank you, everybody, for the purchases of the R7 exhaust.
Yeah, we've had like 4 already.
Yeah. That's
crazy.
awesome. And the video's been up for like 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I really appreciate it because, Kyle was like, what is going on? I'm like, dude, we made a video.
We're bringing you some
and
business.
we're getting some business. Plus, I mean, it sounds amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, you haven't heard it, go check out the video. We did a little install thing, and it looks amazing. And 10 pounds.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. I can just eat as
exhaust.
much chocolate as I want because I saved 10 pounds on the exhaust.
Or not.
Oh, man, she's giving
Okay,
me,
so
she's giving me the eye.
we should.
Is my double chin showing, guys? Maybe not.
It
No.
looks worse when you do that.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
Anyway, my voice is getting a little raspy, so I think I need to take a break.
Oh, you need to take a breather. You got
Yeah.
water, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, that's our experience. I really do hope that you guys give me a little summary of what you had to deal with.
Yeah.
And,
On that note, too, if you have an R7, let us know what you think.
Yeah. And if you need an M4 exhaust, or,
Yeah.
I mean, Akrapovich has theirs as well. We can get you whatever you want. But, let us know. M4. Knocking it out the park. So I like that I ordered it, and they're like, yeah, we'll get it to you tomorrow. Oh,
Yeah.
good old Kyle.
M4 is always
You're the best.
on point.
And you know what? It's nice that they're local, so I can just run over there.
When you say you're like, Kate, can you please run over there? It's always
Okay,
me.
we probably should.
Kyle can vouch for that.
Kyle, you shut your mouth. Anyway, yeah, we'll talk to you guys later, and enjoy the day.
Enjoy the day.
Enjoy the new year.
Yeah.
Oh,
2022.
Yeah, hopefully it's going to be a better year. So,
Bye.
later, guys.